Vista 1. It's an all-in-one chassis, meaning that the I/O and the DSP is built into it. It has the same feature set and functionality of the Vista 5 and the Vista 9. So basically hits the ground running with full feature sets. As you can see here, you have your Vistonic display. So where you touch is where you control. If I select the red, this is my EQ. I have a full 4-band parametric EQ. If I select the green, this is my dynamic. So I have my limiter, compressor, expander, and gate. As you can see here, there's 20 controls that just popped up. There's no paging on the surface of the desk. It's kind of a heavy statement, but because we have these 40 encoders, it allows us to bring all those controls to the surface at once. And as you can see here, we have some really simple icons also. If it has to do with attack and release, it's shaped like a clock. If it has to do with ratio, it's shaped like a slope. If it has levels, we can see with the compression, the level would be going down, and here on the expander, the level would be going up. And also, if I select the yellow, we have our pan, and we can pan left or right. Pretty simple. We can select the name here, automatically goes to the exact patch point on the patch bay. And then coming down, we have our mic pre, we have our channel set, so we can see all our aux buses, we can see our mic pre controls, we can go to miscellaneous. This is great. I have a view of the dynamic, the EQ, and the pan all in one view of this channel. I have the bus assigns. Again, with the Vistonic, it's all touch. I just select. I'm now assigning to master buses 1 through 3, and now I'm deselecting master buses 1 through 3. And this is your mute. This is your solo. Here's your fader. Pretty simple. Also, you have this global view over here. So if you remember, I hit EQ here. I saw my full 4-band parametric, or I hit my dynamics. I see it all here. But I also have these global views where if I hit pan, I can see all my pans at once, which is great. If I'm in the panning mode, I don't have to select pan each time. I can see everything at once. Or I can go to EQ and look at all my EQ. Or maybe I'm doing all my mic pre's, and I have all my mic pre's right there in front of me. And this is what the global view is. I can look at all my aux buses. And then this section right here, for my EQ and dynamic and panning, I have the ability to turn it on or off. And this also allows me to do a copy and paste function. So if I select an EQ here, I'm going to adjust it, see the curve, and I go, okay, I like that. I copy it, put it in the copy buffer, and then I decide to paste it over to this channel, and I hit paste, and you can see there it is. So very simple ways to be able to maneuver around the desk and to be able to see exactly what's going on with the illustration within the Vistonic display. Now over here you have the control bay. It's very similar to the fader bay. A couple little different things. One of which, as you can see here on the custom panel, I can put GPIs here for GPI inputs and outputs. We also have a jingle player. USB stick goes in here, and you can trigger certain bumpers or certain tunes from the jingle stick. And then we have our talkback level here. This section of the control bay is just like this section here, where I can see my whole channel. I can see the miscellaneous of the channel, my bus assigns. And then over here are my 2 wild faders or grandmaster faders. So I can put buses in here, or I can put channels in here. It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. And then you can see here we have a little joystick. I can put a channel into here. If I hit follow and I just hit a select button, that channel now comes into here. I select, now this channel is in here, and now I have the joystick control. And then over here you can see I have my mouse pad. This of course relates to the GC, which is the graphic controller. This is where all your patches are. This is also where you can go in and you can look at your channel patch. So this here shows you what channel you're on, exactly what the processing is doing. So I can see the channel feeds in here, it hits the input, and then I have my EQ, dynamics, insert, delay, so on and so forth. And if I want, I can go in here, I can select a process like the EQ, and I can move it and have it come after the dynamics. If you look a little bit closer into here too, you can see there's 2 inputs per channel plus the tone generator. And depending on what I have patched in there, you can see this little stick. If I select here, then whatever's in input into 2 would then go through the channel. Here, whatever's in input 1, which I happen to have anchor 1, this is the channel for it. Okay, we've completed our patches. So now what we need to do is bring those channels up on the surface. And the way we do that is with the strip setup button. So when I select it, you can see up here that we have sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they match sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here for this example, I'm going to go on section 2. And I can either select 1, or I can double click and select mini. And then when I right click, I can then decide to either put inputs on here, or I can put outputs on here. All right? So for this example, I'm going to put inputs. So here I could put perhaps the kick, the snare, the hat, the whole drums right up here. And once I selected it, you can now see they all came up right here. So as you can tell, pretty simple. I can do it perhaps on this channel on section 3. And I right click and I just do a single one. And maybe I just have my iPod. And if I go to section 3, I can then see my iPod comes up right here. So a very fast, easy, simple way to bring those channels up onto the fader bay. Okay? So right below or next to fader bay is control bay. And I'm going to select it. Actually, before I select it, I want to show you another feature here. On the sections here, we have these arrow keys left and right. What this allows me to do is I can scroll the whole desk, okay, throughout all the channels. So I don't necessarily have to go to each layer to do that. I can just select the arrow keys to bring these channels over here, or these channels over there, or just keep scrolling through the console of all 120 channels if I have that many. Now I'm going to go to Control Bay, okay? So when I click Control Bay, this is the Control Bay section, and I have fader page 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see here, I have this section here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for this example, I'm going to go to fader page 3, and I'm going to put my buses on here. But maybe I'll put my aux masters on here. And when I click it, you can see they come up right here, and I go to page 3, and there they are. It's really that simple. You can also see to the left and right here, I have a couple other banks. And what this allows me to do is I can put more channels or buses. So for this example, I'm going to put some group buses here. But over here, I'm going to put channels. All right? Okay, Vistonic view. I'm going to go to Strip Setup. And as you remember here, we have the fader bay where we assign channels to the fader bay. We have Control Bay where we assign channels or buses. And then we have Vistonic view. This is what's unique in this section, and this is called Vistonic view. I can put channels or buses on these knobs. You can almost think of these knobs as 40 little faders. So to assign to the Vistonic view, you have users 1, 2, 3, and 4. They match 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here I'm going to select 1, or you double click and you select the whole row, and I right click, and again I can put an input on here or I can put a bus output on here. Here I'm going to put input channels, and they're going to go right here, and then on this row I'm going to put my master output buses. And then when I go to user 2, we can see here the input channels I put on and the master buses I put here. And as I mentioned to you, these knobs are like little faders. So when I turn the knob, you can see the fader move. This is Field Reporter 1. Now, am I going to mix this way on these knobs? No. But it allows me to be able to get or see, I have metering data on here of every channel and every bus of what's going on. And I got 40 of them. So it's a great way to just to have and see things to get to. And if I need to make changes, they're right here. I can make the changes. And because I have 4 pages, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's 40, 80, 120, 160, because there's 40 knobs on each page. So in this section here, I can put 160 different channels or buses and get to them with one push of the button. And that is the Vistonic view. Okay, so we've brought the channels up to the surface. One of the unique features that we have on the STUDER console is fader glow. And what this allows you to do is you can color the faders, or your inputs or your outputs. The advantage here is your brain's going to recognize the colors before the text. So you don't have to be reading all the time. You're just going to be looking for colors. So for this example, we'd go to strip setup. Here's all our channels on our strip. And then I'm going to go for our field reporter. I'm going to select them here. I right click. I then go down to fader glow, and then I choose what color they are. I'm going to choose magenta, and there they are. I can do the same thing here maybe for my anchors. And here I'll select them. I go to fader glow, and I'll choose cyan for them. So the advantage here is because we can work in these different layers, I need to find my field reporters. Where are they? Magenta. There it is. A much faster way and easier way to get to the channels you need to work on. Now the same is true for your output buses. The way that the console defaults is our group buses are always green, okay? Our aux masters are always orange, and our master outputs are always red. And so what I've done here is green, they match the green fader glow. Orange matches my auxes, they're here, and then my masters, they're red. So again, just a real simple, fast way for you to get to the information or the channels you need to get to without having to read all the text. You're just looking for the colors. And that's fader glow.